we have another question from Reddit, and the user, it's obviously in Somali relationships, but it more relates to like, family and upbringing and things like that. The question was, I am a married man with 2 children. I grew up in very poor conditions. And now that I'm a man of stature and status, I'm worried that my kids will grow up spoiled and selfish, and they won't have the right character to be successful in life. My wife thinks that I'm being overprotective or over analyzing the situation. But I think that being poor and growing up without much builds character, whereas being rich weakens character and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to present it to the brothers. What do you guys think? Because obviously, none of us come from money. So I mean,
no, we don't.
none of us come from money. So I mean,
Alhamdulillah, though,
none of us come from money. So
we did okay, alhamdulillah, but definitely not rich. I mean, it is an interesting conversation because I feel like that does build character, like you're saying, like having some sort of struggle in life growing up. However, I think forcing struggle is wrong, and it's almost a disservice to your kids, especially if you're not in that position. I think values should come with, like, you should be able to show your kids values based off of your actions, your mannerisms and things of that sort. You can't avoid your kids having a sense of entitlement, maybe, or like a sense of confidence or identity that's been given to them based off of their rate or how they were raised, because that environment is going to affect their upbringing no matter what you do. Right. However, I think in the sense of the Somali community, it's really great that we're all Muslim, because the deen will teach you the core values of being a good Muslim, or being a good person. Those two kind of correlate together.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think it's not a good idea to kind of force struggle on your children.
Agreed.
But at the same time too, it's important for them to realize that they are A, lucky to live the life they are, no matter what position they're in, and B, there are people that are doing worse than them, and that there are people that are doing better than them in life. So you shouldn't look at yourself in a certain way.
Yeah.
But those things can be met with the deen, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I also think growing up in struggle is overrated. I talk to a lot of people and they're like, yo, man, I want my kids to be like strong. I want my kids to be it's still possible to have strong kids with a good work ethic, given great opportunities as a younger individual, So like for me personally, we were talking about this off camera. I want my kids to have a better childhood than I did. And I think we had a great childhood with the little that we had, But the difference is I want them to have opportunities that I wasn't presented with. I want them to have, if they want the route to go private schooling, I want them to give them the best education that they want. If they want to go to university afterwards, I want to support them in funding that. Like a lot of people be like, the struggle about, do you know how hard it is paying back 30,000 in OSAP? I don't want my kids to go through that.
That's true. It's true.
And growing up, I remember I was a little immature. I remember having friends that their parents paid for that, and I was like, "Yo, do you not know the struggle? That's not gonna make you. You don't know the value of education because your parents are paying it for you, right? You're just showing up. But in reality, that should be the case. Education should be based off of just going to school and getting your marks, compared to the fear of having to pay that back after the fact. So I say that because for me personally, I want to give my kids the avenue to explore whatever opportunity that they want, and not be scared of any repercussions that they may have because they can't afford the opportunity, or they're not good enough for it. Like whatever avenue that they want, I want to be the driver that takes them there. But at the same time, like the argument of what if they're selfish, what if they're not strong enough, what if they're not X, Y, and Z. I think that's where parenting comes from. Your role as a parent is to teach your kid values and to show them how to be a solid human being. I think parenthood is from 0 to 18. It's a full-time job to make sure after 18 that that kid can live on their own or have the skill set they need to survive on their own. If after 18, or let's say I'm putting a limit on it, but after a certain age, if that kid is still reliant on you, I do think there's a level of, it may be harsh to say this, but a little bit of failure on the parent end for not raising that kid the way you want it to be, So that's how I see it. I want my kid to have a better opportunity, and in that same breath, I will equip them with what they need in order to welcome these, you know?
Hmm.
Like, I don't want my kid to be selfish. Like, yes, you got this opportunity easier to some people, but I want you to know the struggle that those people had to go through to get to the same place. I want you to know that there's value and generational wealth that I'm giving to you, and know that you're not better than these people, but they just took a different path to get there. You know? That's how I see it, at least.
I think for me, I sort of teeter the line because a part of me thinks, hey, struggle more times than not builds character, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if being rich builds that same character. I wouldn't know. None of us would know, right?
Fair enough.
But from the rich people that we have seen, I don't think a lot of them have character.
Right.
I know people who have a lot of money and their character is kind of weak. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Does being broke always build character? No, but more times than not, it does.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right? So I guess what I'm afraid of is that I'm going to have, hopefully I'll be in a successful position, inshallah.
Inshallah.
I'll be scared that, my kids not only won't appreciate the struggle that I came from, whatever struggle it was, because it wasn't perfect, but it also wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to die every single day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was still food on the table, you know what I mean?
Bro, we live.
Granted, the gear was a little bit whack,
It's all
Very.
The gear was whack.
I kind of low key missed those days though.
Nah,
Looking
I
back.
didn't have my first pair of Jordans till I was like 17.
Bro,
you know?
I was.
Yeah, mine was 15.
20, bro.
Yeah, and they weren't even good. They weren't even good Jordans. They were like Jordan Fusion mixed with Air Force Ones.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, man. I had
That's what you got?
Yeah, I'll send you guys a picture of it and we'll post it up.
Yeah, fair.
It's actually nasty, but do I think that? I don't know, man. It's
kind of conflicting, right?
it's so conflicting
Yeah.
because you're thinking to yourself, yo, struggle built me.
Mhm.
Did, yeah. But there's different ways to come across the same equation. I think we're under this misconception that the only way to build character is to throw somebody in a fire.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that case. I think there's multiple ways to get the same result. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess for me, I just don't know the other way, right? I
Fair
don't
enough,
know.
yeah.
I don't know what the other methods are, right? Like, imagine, like there are kids right now who drive by areas that we live in. You know what I mean? And their parents grew up there, and they'll be like, "Ew, this is the ghetto." And be like, "Nigga, if I don't put you through the fucking back, nigga, is you crazy?"
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't want to drive by my ends, when I'm hopefully if I'm still in the city, but I don't want to drive by my ends and my stupid snotty nose shit in the back is like, ew, this place is nuts.
That's that's crazy.
Like, nigga, this place, what, nigga, is he crazy? I never wanted to fool a 4-year-old in my life, but it's
hear what
just,
you're saying.
it's tough, man. It's
hear what
tough.
you're saying.
It's like, I don't know how being rich builds character. I haven't seen it in theory and I haven't seen it in practice. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for me, do I want my kids to grow up, in rougher areas? No, because that would be selfish of me.
Of course, yeah.
But it's like, how can I show them what it means to struggle without them? I don't think you can learn struggle without going through it.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? And to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, fam, like it's a conflicting situation because in a sense, like we always hear like pressure forms diamonds and like the best people
Steel sharpens steel.
right, yeah, the best people come out of the worst struggles, and stuff like that. That all is 100% granted, understood, right? But at the same time too, I also think that there's little aspects of raising a child that can help benefit them in the long run. Like having a job at a certain age, getting your driver's license at a certain age, just like building responsibility, I think helps build character as well, right? But at the same time too, when you're in a position like where you live in a affluent neighborhood and you're driving a nice car and you go to a private school, like you sort of start to internalize, especially at a young impressionable age,
Mhm.
that this is how life should be, right? And that anything below this is unacceptable, right?
Mhm.
But it's tough because like you can only help those people so much, right? You can only help build their character so much. There is gonna come a time though where they realize, oh shit, I'm on my own here.
Yeah.
There's no mommy and daddy to hold me down anymore. I gotta do this shit for myself. And it's what they do at that time really that makes or breaks somebody, Because there's a lot of people that are from really nice neighborhoods and stuff like that, and really great upbringings and like everything was given to them, and yet they still end up on the streets, or
Yeah.
they're become a crack addict or a homeless person. It just happens so often, right? So yeah, I do agree that struggle builds character, but it doesn't define character. You know, I think it's a personal journey that people go through.
I do also want to
Jeez.
say one thing.
Just saying.
There's different types of struggle. You know,
Hmm.
I feel like if I was to still provide my child opportunities because of the wealth that we have, right? I still think they would experience struggle, but in a different format. They would start off on a different level. You know how we started level 1 struggle? I still think let's say my kid wanted to be a director. Like I would try to get them into schooling to become a director. They would obviously have to get the grades themselves, right? That's one. Two, they would obviously have to put their foot in the industry. That's and walk up to get up the ladder, climb up the ladder, right?
Right.
I think there's different levels of struggle in which when opportunities provided to you where you don't have to worry about level 1 struggle. They can start off on level 5, They
Mhm.
can still build character with similar traits to what we're used to, but at the same time, give them a different place to start off at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have an example I wanted to give you guys actually. Like, say you're a kid, say you're, let's paint a scenario here where
Okay.
you're well off, alhamdulillah, you're doing well in life and you're able to give your kids a life that's much better than yours, right? Say your child comes to you and says, instead of going to a private school, I want to go to a public school. How would you treat that?
I'm totally fine with that.
You're okay with it?
I'm not okay with it.
And why
Why
not?
is that?
Oh wow. Look, I said I'm okay with it.
And now, like, yeah,
I'm so sorry.
don't
Sorry
worry.
about
Go
that.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I had a terrible night's sleep. Lumpy ass mattress.
Okay.
I think I'm not okay with it because it's like, yo, I came up in the public schooling system. It's not great.
It isn't.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's not great. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But granted, if that not great system built me,
How can you?
wow,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
At the same time, they are kids. I think it would need to be what stage of their life are they at?
Let's just for
Like,
sake of
I'm
I think
assuming
I
a
would
middle
know
school
better.
kid.
yeah, let's say for conversation, it's a middle school kid, and they're like, I'm done with the
What
private
is their
school.
reasoning though?
Like they want to be with the regular kids,
The regular kids,
Hmm.
or is there a friend group going there?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Would you let your kid, especially if you're in like a higher class society, would you let your kid hang out with kids who are like have less money?
100%.
I would encourage it actually.
I would actually
100%.
be
I would
like, yo, bring
encourage
them
it,
over a little
actually.
bit.
I
Yo,
just
bring
hope
them
they don't
over
take
more.
advantage of them though. That's my only thing. Because imagine you have the rich friend and you like, let's say they get the new game or they get the new, like, you'd always want to go to their house, or I just hope they understand that you're not being taken advantage of, But 100% I would promote it. Be like, if you be friends with whoever you want to be friends with, just know that you come from a different class in terms of like wealth. Just know, don't be taken advantage of as such. That's my only thing.
I would say yes, because I feel like that would give me some kind of, I don't know if this is real or it's just me being delusional, but that would kind of give me some sort of clarity that, okay, my kid at least sees the difference in people or characters in people, that they want to be alongside more normal,
Yeah.
average people rather than entitled people or entitlement. So that would give me some kind of grace, like, okay, you're doing well for yourself. So I would let that happen, Mind you, I'd be very on their ass about like staying the right course and not hanging out with, bad people and shit like that. But yeah, I think that's a good sign for me. Like if my kid wants to go to a public school, I'd be like, I came from the public school. Come on, man, let's do it.
I would be a little hesitant because I would want better for them. So they would have to give me a solid reason, But let me try to play devil's advocate. Would you guys feel like failures if you felt as though your kid didn't have good character?
Yeah,
I would.
yeah.
Because obviously there's no such thing as a perfect parent. Like you're gonna fuck up somewhere. You can give your kid the world and they'll say, "Oh, daddy didn't hug me."
Facts.
You can give your kid wallahi everything under the sun and they'll still find something to bitch about because it's the human condition, bin adam manha, right?
Yeah.
100%.
You're always gonna find something to complain about. Something's wrong.
Mhm.
I think for me, if I made it to a level of success and I got bread
Mhm.
and my kid turns out to be a douche, well, first of all, that nigga gonna die. That's number one. But
Mine's gonna.
that nigga gonna die, and then I'm gonna die after. But
Fair enough.
I would just that would hurt me in such a way, bro.
My heart would be in the worst place. Like you could take every dollar away from me at that point. If I could just fix the kid, I'd be better off that way. To be honest with you, it wouldn't be about the dollar amount. I would not feel satisfied in life that way
Mhm.
at all. Complete failure.
Because it's like, yo, Allah put me on this earth to do good things. and I'm putting a piece of shit out on the street. Like, if you're putting out bad product, like, you just shut down the factory.
I'm looking at it like, yo,
Shut
you
down
had
the
one
factory.
job, my nigga. Just make this you a good you. You know?
Yeah, like, you had one
You had
job, my
one
nigga.
job.
Yeah.
Fuck, like, and like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, getting it out the mud mentality. Like, it's not the worst thing ever, but it does hold certain people back.
Right.
And you know, us as Somalis, as Black people, as whatever the fuck people like to label us, because I don't know, right? I don't know, I don't know what Twitter decided this week,
Facts.
but we sort of, what is it? We romanticize struggle,
We do, yeah. Yeah.
whether unintentionally or intentionally. We romanticize it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody was saying, oh, the NBA has too many trust fund babies now, or too many like upper class babies.
Mhm.
I was like, isn't that kind of a good
Kind
thing?
of a good thing, yeah. We need that.
Like, for every you know, kid, you know, like a LaMelo Ball who comes from something,
Mhm.
you know, there's an aunt who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for every this is actually a crazy conversation I had with my homie. He was like, oh, yo, you heard how Steph's parents are getting divorced. This was last year or the year before.
Yeah.
You know, Steph's parents are getting divorced. I said, yo, it's tough. That's probably the toughest thing Steph Curry's ever been through in his life.
Let's be real. Yeah.
Probably,
Mm-hmm.
He said, you don't know his life. Da, da, da. I said, my nigga, I promise you that's the worst thing he's been through in his life.
Let's be real.
And for guys like us, that wouldn't scratch the top 10.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, that would be another day in the office.
That's another day in the fucking life of the
Yeah.
goddamn boss.
Yeah.
That's another day in the office, my nigga.
Real talk.
You know, you have guys like Steph who obviously didn't get it out the mud, but at the same time, his career he kind of did
Mm-hmm.
because nobody thought he was going to be much, right?
Yeah.
And you have a guy like Giannis who even beneath that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's still these stories in the NBA, but there are more people coming up, more light skins with hyphenated names. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like,
The first year, like, the past couple of seasons, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like you're saying, I've been seeing a lot more of the kids that grew up in the affluent communities, the AAU product babies
Mhm.
coming into the NBA, and it's great, right?
and I need more of them and less John Morants who are pretending.
The pretenders, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
relax, Demetrius. You grew up in a gated community. We know.
You saw that photo
We
of
know.
him and his family all wearing the same fit,
like, nigga.
the group photo.
You are.
You guys don't even know their pops, let alone have that photo.
Fair enough.
Like,
You think I have one photo of me and my father, and it's grainy, and it's beat, and like I'm not even looking in the photo. I'm looking off in the distance.
be real, man.
Like, this nigga, yo, listen, John. Oh, that I'm glad. Like, hopefully he learns from it because obviously he's a young guy. Hopefully he learns from it.
Yeah.
But goddamn, like that whole situation, just like, like you are dying to be something you're not.
There's an epidemic going on with this though, man. I'm seeing it on TikTok too. A lot of these white kids from like Hamilton or like some random town outside of Toronto, huge heavy accent, walking around with the side bag. It's not for fashion. Like, dog, I'm seeing it so much more now. Like, dog, we know where you're
It's definitely
from.
for fashion.
It's for fashion. Like, I've been seeing this so much. They're glorifying struggle so much more nowadays, and it's getting kind of weird because people are making it out of struggle much more than before.
Mhm.
So we should be broadcasting that more, in my opinion. You know, less John Morant's, more Steph Curry's.
Facts.
You know,
Because that's a guy who, even though he came from affluence, he doesn't pretend.
no,
Like, he doesn't pretend.
it's
Not
only-
to say Ja came from like a super, like, you know, up family,
No,
like
no,
an NBA player, but like
but
you came from a 2-parent
he
household.
doesn't represent the upbringing that he had.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you came from a 2-parent household. Your name is Demetrius.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That I'll forever hold that against him. Demetrius.
Demetrius.
Bitch ass nigga.
Demetrius
me.
Morant.
Come see me.
Man, gotta have a good name.
Bitch ass nigga. Come see me. I'm kidding. No, I'm a big fan of your work. But I just, we need less of that, bro. We need less people pretending. Like, yo, but there's always going to be pretenders, right? There's always going to be people who are like not with it. We're going to pretend they're with it.